Hello there, my name is Thomas O'Regan and I'm a professional property investor here in Australia. Me and my wife over the last 4 years have 20x'd our property portfolio's equity position. Now, I just wanted to talk to you guys today about why I consider property investing a passive income. Passive income. A lot of people think there is no such thing as passive income. There's always some work that needs to be done to make the passive income, right? And the truth is, yeah, that is partially true, right? So the big reason why I consider property investing as a passive income, as a passive wealth creation vehicle, is because whether you want it to or not, over a long enough time period, the value of your real estate will increase. And in most circumstances, the value of your real estate, where you don't have any control over this, by the way, it's nothing you can do, say, nothing. Regardless of anything, the value of your real estate over a long enough time horizon will increase. And it's very likely if you're an average income earner, if you earn a normal wage, that the value of the real estate that you own will increase to a point where it is more money than you have ever earned in your life. The value of the properties you own or the property you own is very likely over a long enough time horizon to increase so much to the point where it's increased so large, there's so much growth there's so much wealth creation happened there. It's more money than you have ever earned in your life from working a job. Now, once I realized that is what drove me to stop working and start investing in property full time. Now, let me just hit on this a little harder. Here in Australia, other countries as well, if you look back at property values 100 years ago, 130 years ago, it's very likely that the property values may have been something to the note of $100. You could probably purchase a property for something like $100, 150 years ago. Now you're probably sitting there thinking there is no way that the property was worth $100,000, and you're probably also thinking there is no way this property that I own could be worth 100 times more or even double or even 10 times more than it is worth today. The reality is, yes, sorry to upset you, yes, it will definitely be worth 100 times more. Okay, so in Australia, and this is a fact, in Australia, you could purchase a property in 1896 for around about $150. And the property that I'm referencing to was one in Bendigo, and it was a 16-acre property. There was a property that sold in Bendigo, and as the entire market was selling for roughly the same price, comparable properties at the time, the property sold for I got that really wrong. It sold for £161. But what that actually equals to is just over $300. Now the property in 1896 sold for that much. The property today is worth in excess of $1 million. Now, just quickly, that's roughly about probably in excess of a 3,000 times increase. Now, if you own property right now, you are definitely not, there's very few people that comprehend how much more the property is going to be worth in 150 years. But the reality is that's how much more it's going to be worth. It's so uncomprehendable how the effect of compounding growth and what it does to property values. Now, back to the point of the video, is property investing a passive income? I hopefully I've answered that question already in what I've just said, but if you're a property investor, there are still things you need to do. But if you compare how much time you would spend, because people say, property investing is not a passive income stream. You have to manage the property, you have to troubleshoot issues, you have to do repairs on the property, you have to find tenants, all that stuff. but like realistically, if you have a property, you're very likely to over an entire year to spend somewhere around 10 to 15 hours on that property, managing that property, troubleshooting everything. And if you're spending more than that, you're just getting way too much involved. You can outsource almost everything when it comes to property, managing a property portfolio. Okay, so one property, if you're spending 15 hours a year on managing a property, owning a property, making sure it's fully tenanted, making sure the property's up to scratch in terms of maintenance, all that sort of stuff. It's in 15 hours a year versus you going to a job and working 40 hours a week. Which is harder? You working 40 hours a week times 365. Obviously, people don't work 365 days a year, but you guys know what I mean, right? Working a full-time job, 40 hours a week versus 15 hours a year on a property portfolio. I think we can, whether you're managing it or not, I think yes, you can consider property investing a passive income stream. But yes, you're right. If you think property investing isn't passive income and there's no such thing as a passive income stream, you're partially right. It's true. You're partially right. But yeah, basically, that's it, guys. If you want to become a property investor and buy your time back, I would suggest doing it because it's far easier to create wealth as a growing a large property portfolio than it is to work a 40-hour work week, and it will take you a lot of less time as well. See you next time. Bye.